Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, find out how one local teacher acted quickly to save lives on an elementary school campus.
Then, with mosquito season in full swing, we'll tell you about two rare species that may be heading our way.
Plus, a 16-year-old burn victim from Cameroon, Africa undergoes his first surgery here in Torrance.
And soon there will be an added benefit when visiting the DMV. We'll tell you all about it. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Here are your top stories. ExxonMobil's recent steam leak on their refinery had many residents asking questions about the Torrance alert system and why some were not notified. City of Torrance Emergency Manager Soraya Sutherland says this incident was not deemed a threat initially when the city responded to an emergency call. Sutherland says there is a process before the community is alerted. Emergency crews conduct an assessment based on the information they have. The incident commander on the scene then determines if the incident poses any public threat. This information is not always clear or available and usually needs further investigation before determining the impact. Once a decision is made, the incident commander requests a Torrance alert, which is distributed by the dispatch center. The city of Torrance is one of the few cities in LA County that offers its own alert system. Sutherland also said, quote, "We are working nonstop behind the scenes to get and provide accurate information, while Torrance Alerts is only one platform to distribute information. It is a part of a larger system that includes other ways of notification such as sirens, social media, CitiCABLE, and City Sounds." The Torrance Fire Department responded to ExxonMobil after reports of a release from its coker unit, an oil refinery processing unit that converts oil into hydrocarbon gases. The release of the material is commonly compared to asphalt, which later is vaporized into steam. As a precaution, the Torrance Fire Department and ExxonMobil decided to notify the public to shelter in place and were notified of an all clear about an hour and a half later. The city also plans to bring another alert system back into the city called Community Engagement. Anyone who is interested in signing up for Torrance Alerts can do so at torranceca.gov/Torrance Alerts. Make sure when you sign up, you choose how you want to be alerted. Once you are alerted, respond to the message.
The Torrance ExxonMobil incident was also discussed at the weekly Torrance City Council meeting. Torrance Fire Chief Rakowski explained the updated timeline of the steam leak. City Manager Leroy Jackson also talked about further changes that could help alert residents quicker during an emergency. Another point at the meeting was declaring October 2015 as National Rideshare Month in the city of Torrance, encouraging alternative methods of transportation. Well, from one declaration to the next, the city will have a week-long celebration beginning November 5th through the 11th in honor of all the men and women who are serving and have served our country. The city also accepted donations from ExxonMobil for various programs across the city. More than 100 students played the part of critically injured patients at Providence Little Company of Mary Medical Center here in Torrance. Responding to the scenario of a 6.9 earthquake, staff rushed to treat 50 patients in 15 minutes. It was all part of an earthquake drill that staged what could possibly happen if the big one hit California. The main goal of the drill is for hospital personnel to respond quickly to mass casualties. They also rehearsed code triage when medical staff sort and prioritize injured victims based on their needs for immediate medical treatments. This code helps maximize resources. Teams also manage the safety of existing patients, assess damage to the hospital, and obtained extra resources to remain open for the community. 15 minutes till 50 patients is an award-winning concept created by Providence Little Company of Mary Medical Center.
A teen burn victim from Cameroon, Africa undergoes his first reconstructive surgery at Torrance Memorial Medical Center. Plastic surgeons from the burn unit began procedures on 16-year-old Jasper Owoma to release his elbow and perform skin grafting surgery on his left eyelid. This surgery is the first of many that will help Jasper use his left eyelid and right arm. Doctors plan to perform half a dozen surgeries during Jasper's one-year stay in America. They hope to also give him a prosthetic eye so that he can close and open his right eyelid. The Children's Burn Foundation is covering all costs for his stay and treatments, which is estimated to be about $100,000. Torrance Memorial stated some of the doctors plan to volunteer their time to treat Jespa. We will continue to cover his journey and bring you the latest.
Well, there was an outpour of support from the community at a local Ralph's, all for a good cause. For the first time, the Food for Kids Pantry partners hosted their own food drive. Volunteers stood outside the Ralph's on Carson Street and handed out lists of non-perishable items needed for the pantry. Pantry partner Judy Johnson says the pantry was starting to look bare and they had to take action to make sure they could meet the needs of the community. With an overwhelming response, volunteers collected enough food to fill 3 regular pickup trucks, as well as more than $500 in donations. The Food for Kids Pantry Partners has its own pantry at the Volunteer Center South Bay, which helps to provide 100 bags every Friday to children at 7 elementary schools.
These children already qualify for the free breakfast and lunch program, and there were instances that they were aware of that these children, some of these children, would have lunch on Friday at school and not eat again until breakfast Monday at school.
Non-perishable foods are welcomed anytime at the Volunteer Center located at 1230 Cravens Avenue in Old Torrance. Johnson also says that she wants to partner with more organizations to host food drives.
And from one good cause to the next, the Salvation Army is looking for helpers to spread cheer this holiday season. Registration is now open for paid bell ringers and volunteers for the 2015 annual Kettle Campaign. Salvation Army in Torrance is in need of people every day from November 27th through December 24th. Volunteers would work a minimum of 4 hours and can work anytime from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. The organization plans to raise $80,000 in Torrance. To get more information or sign up, call the Salvation Army at 310-370-4515.
And a second-grade teacher in Torrance gets quite the honor for her quick actions, which helped save several lives. Popular Los Angeles radio station KNX named Walteria Elementary School teacher Kelly Calhoun a hero. Calhoun risked her life to make sure students were out of harm's way after a hood of a car burst into flames after school. Calhoun quickly made sure all students were in a safe zone and even ran into the middle of the street to redirect traffic. She continued her heroic acts by removing some students from a car to a safe location as well. She suffered minor smoke inhalation. Calhoun says she is happy that she reacted in a calm way. KNX Radio honors military and local heroes weekly.
And another local hero will soon be stepping down from her big seat. After 30 years of service as the president of Volunteer Center, Dee Dee Hicks will be giving her position to newly appointed president Sarah Myers in December. After a long search, the Volunteer Center, South Bay Harbor, Long Beach, named Myers as the new president of the Torrance-based organization. Myers has spent nearly 10 years working with nonprofit organizations, most recently working as the executive director for the Long Beach Public Library Foundation. Dee Dee Hicks will be leaving an impressive legacy. Under her lead, the nonprofit organization has grown from an annual budget of $140,000 to $2 million.
The thing that I will miss most will be the wonderful people that I have had the chance to work with. Staff, board, volunteers, praise the volunteers.
When you can take volunteers and match their time and talents and treasure with the needs of the community and society, that's a wonderful mission, and I feel privileged to get to work on it.
The Volunteer Center was founded in 1963 by the Junior League of Long Beach. It currently serves 400 groups in 43 cities.
And El Camino College also announced a historical selection of a new president. Dr. Dina Maloney will become the first woman superintendent and president of the college. Maloney currently serves as superintendent at West Kern Community College. She began her career in higher education in Santa Clarita and was named founding dean of the Canyon Country campus in 2007. In a statement, Maloney says she is excited to become part of El Camino College and is appreciative of the opportunity. The college has been looking for a new president since this past spring. A board of trustees will vote on the appointment of Maloney at their regular meeting on November 16th. The current president, Thomas Fallow, has served the college for 20 years and plans to retire next year.
Rare aggressive mosquitoes are growing across LA County and may be making their way to Torrance soon. The Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control District is cautioning everyone to stay alert as yellow fever and Asian tiger mosquitoes have moved into more than 15 areas within the county. Kelly Middleton, the Director of Communication Affairs for the Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control, says there is a good chance the mosquitoes will make their way to Torrance since they are prone to moving into new communities. They are known to carry dangerous diseases like dengue and chikungunya. The concern is that they multiply quickly, are hard to control, and are attracted to smaller pools of water. Here are some tips from Vector Control. Since the mosquitoes do well in residential areas and in small containers of water, it is recommended to get rid of barrels, decorative plants, and control overgrown vegetation. Also, if you plan to keep containers around, make sure you clean them out weekly. Officials say the mosquitoes were probably imported through lucky bamboo plants from overseas. For more information, you can go to the Los Angeles County Vector Control's website at glacvcd.org, where you can sign up for more alerts.
Well, still ahead, students from a local school are taking steps to be more water wise.
Plus, the community comes together for Make a Difference Day.
California is in the middle of a severe drought. In fact, it's one of the worst in our state's history. But as a resident, there are things you can do to cut back on water usage and even help save money. For example, the Metropolitan Water District will give you a rebate for using high-efficiency toilets or washing machines that help save water. And if you have a lawn, you might want to consider switching to native and drought-tolerant plants and grasses. That includes succulents, flowers, and grasses that don't need as much water as a lawn. And you can mix and match these plants to create a unique design in your front or backyard. The best part is they give your yard an all-season appeal and are just as colorful as any other. Now, funding is limited for these rebate programs, so be sure to check them out as soon as you can. Remember, all of these things can help save water, one resident at a time in our community.
Soon there may be an easier and faster way to register to vote at your local DMV. Here's Tao Ta with the story.
Waiting at the DMV will soon have some new perks worth waiting for.
It saves time, that's all.
Torrance resident Madon Sial is talking about the new system at the DMV that's giving voters the opportunity to automatically register when they renew or get a driver's license.
Some people leave it to the last minute and they don't register in time and they can't vote and they have a hard time at the polls.
Starting next year, the new Motor Voter Act, along with dozens of bills signed by Governor Jerry Brown, will eventually expand California's voter turnout by millions.
I believe it's a good idea, yeah, because a lot of young kids nowadays, they don't register themselves. It's just another step that they'd have to take, so I feel like it prevents a lot of people from actually registering.
This new law would rely on the DMV to electronically provide data about eligible voters to the Secretary of State Alex Padilla's office. While such a change is much needed, there are some concerns. The DMV may not register people who are not U.S. citizens, even if they get a driver's license, people like Ian Ramboying.
Since you said it probably won't help you because you won't be eligible to vote.
Yes. It's really useless for me.
Currently, people who register to vote fill out a paper registration form. But the new system would electronically register people. A new system people like Sial is looking forward to.
I think it's a good idea.
And why is that?
Because it's the right place and occasion to catch more votes.
Now, the new Motor Voter Act takes effect January 1st, but the new registration process will not be offered until the state completes work on a new voter registration database called VoteGal, which is expected to complete sometime in June of 2016.
Thanks, Tao. The law is modeled off of the state of Oregon's new motor vehicle law.
The city of Torrance is once again bringing an annual tradition to recognize some of the most talented artists in the city. Reporter Tao Ta is back and has the story.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens in Torrance shouldn't stay here.
What's happening in Torrance is the 38th Annual Excellence in Arts Awards ceremony, honoring 6 deserving artists who are keeping art alive right here in the city of Torrance. From dance, music, visual arts, and design, literary arts, drama and theater arts, and arts education. 6 recipients were recognized for all their hard work and outstanding contributions by the Torrance Cultural Arts Commission. Caroline McCain and her team, Ready, Willing, and Mabel, won the award for music. She says it's important to raise awareness about the positive impact of local music and the millions of people out there who enjoy their art just as much as she does.
One of our goals was to really be active in the community and really get involved in the arts in the South Bay and do as much as we could to promote live music.
It wasn't easy at first, but McCain and her team have made it this far, going strong for 12 years now. Their love and enthusiasm for jazz music is stronger than ever.
We had tried lots of different combinations before, Ready, Willing, and Mabel, and then as soon as we heard the 4 voices together, we realized that was, it's just a vocal chemistry. You can't describe it.
As for these other talented artists, being in a city that supports the arts is what keeps these artists motivated.
It's hard to believe. It's maybe one of the biggest distinctions I've ever had.
It's quite an honor simply because I grew up in the city of Torrance, so it's really nice to kind of come full circle and be recognized for all the work that I've done within the dance community.
I'm very honored. Torrance is such a great community for the arts, and to be selected for this is really an honor.
I'm very pleased that people are paying attention. I mean, that was very nice.
I think it's a wonderful thing to appreciate not only myself, but all of the artists in Torrance. Very few cities take the time to really recognize those who work in this field and this industry.
And it's really important to really support all those people because there's an enormous amount of talent.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Ta.
Thanks, Tao. Artists must either live or work in Torrance to be nominated for the Excellence in Arts Awards.
Well, students from a local private school are taking steps to be more water-wise. The South Bay Junior Academy, located on Del Amo Boulevard, dedicated this new garden to their students of the 2015 to 2016 school year. Almost 3,000 square feet of turf was removed from the school to build a drought-friendly garden. This was all thanks to Orchard Supply Hardware, who gave the Academy a $2,000 grant called Neighbors Helping Neighbors. It is offered annually to a community outreach program. The garden is far from ordinary. It is a vertical garden that is powered by solar or electric energy. It recycles water to reuse for watering plants.
And this drought and what's going on here will teach our children a way to have new life skills.
The school hopes the garden will be a teaching tool to promote water conservation and serve as a resource to supply hot lunches. The Be Water-Wise program from Metropolitan Water District provided trees, raised beds, and many other items.
From shoveling, planting new vegetation to painting, volunteers crowded the Madrona Marsh for Make a Difference Day. People from all walks of life cleaned up the marsh. About 108 volunteers were in attendance, including 24 from the Torrance Kiwanis Club. Manager Tracy Drake says the turnout was smaller than usual. 282 plants were planted and 3/4 of the marsh was trimmed down. It's an event held annually across the country on the 4th Saturday of October.
And another community event brought together some of the most creative costumes, from Minnie Mouse to superheroes. These Torrance Rose Float Association supporters came out for some fun and some dancing, of course. A silent auction and prizes were a few fun, spooktacular activities that help raise money for the Torrance Rose Float Association. They even had a silent auction to give away tickets for a ride on the Rose Float this year. One supporter bid $1,000 for a seat. This year's float is called What Perfectly Awful Adventure, depicting a cat stuck in a tree. It represents the Torrance Class 1 Fire Department.
Torrance is a great community, and they're doing all the right things with their dollars, and the city puts a lot of time and effort into this for free, and I'm happy to support the fundraising activities for this great event.
The Torrance Fire Department paid for the food served at the event. Find Your Adventure is the theme of the 127th Tournament of Roses Parade. Torrance Memorial doctors are helping patients battle cancer with some of the top research and therapies. Jesse Pierre has more on the story.
At 68 years old and with such a positive outlook on life, you would never know Paula Quijano was battling an illness.
I have been diagnosed with cancer, lymphoma, in my brain, and definitely this has been like a miracle for me.
Quijano has been seeing oncologist Dr. Andrew Harodner for 2 years and trusts that she is getting the best chemotherapy treatment.
I feel very happy, even though that this condition seems to be very debilitating, even though I am tolerating the treatments.
She is thrilled to find out Dr. Harodner is giving a lecture at the Torrance Memorial Medical Center and came out to learn everything she could.
We are achieving remissions. We're getting rid of cancer. We're putting people into a state where the cancer is quiet and hopefully will never come back.
Torrance Memorial Medical Center's physicians are providing more effective cancer treatments through targeted therapies, which give patients like Quijano the ability to continue to live longer and more productive lives.
We're becoming smarter about how cancers function, about what drives them, and we're becoming smarter about how specifically to target the cancers and spare the host cells so we don't cause as much nausea, we don't cause as much hair loss.
And thanks to those who participate in clinical trials, new discoveries and advancements are made. Dr. Harodner says they are the real heroes.
And that's how a lot of these drugs are kind of discovered and studied. We put patients on clinical trials where they are, patients get a standard treatment that we normally use, and either they get that or they're randomized to get a new drug.
As Quijano fights for her life, she's grateful for the support of her family, the staff at Torrance Memorial, and especially Dr. Harodner. With her team behind her, she stays hopeful every day.
We help cure a lot of people, but even the patients we can't cure, we can really help give them better quality of life and be there for them in their time of need.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jessie Pierre.
Thanks, Jesse. To find out more information about open trials, contact the Clinical Research Department at 310-517-4714. Pediatric hospice care that served Los Angeles and Orange counties is based right here in Torrance, and CitiCABLE was invited to see how staff members at Trinity Kids Care are making a difference in the community. Jessie Pierre has the story.
Clinical supervisor Jamie Andrews has worked at Trinity Kids Care for over 8 years and knows the importance of supporting families through the worst of times.
Well, no one should have to lose a child, right? It's just not the natural progression of things. And we see it a lot. We work with families that are going through this process.
Andrews knew she wanted to be in the medical field ever since she was a little girl, and after nursing school, she found her calling.
Never thought at all about doing pediatric oncology until one of my mentors was like, you know what, I think you would like peds oncology. Why don't you do a rotation in school? And so I did, and I loved it.
Trinity Kids Care provides services to kids with terminal illnesses. They service all of LA and Orange counties, getting referrals from a number of hospitals, including Kaiser, Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, Little Company of Mary, and many more.
Our office is in Torrance, but we help kind of facilitate pain and symptom management at home to try to prevent unplanned ER visits and try to help kids get a better quality of life at home.
But mostly it's in home to help the families get the resources and the information and the help.
Margaret Servin has worked primarily as a case manager and has hands-on experience with these families and is amazed at how well children deal with their condition.
They have such an amazing ability to they know a lot of times what's happening to them in their own way, and they really do try and work to ease their parents' suffering in the best way they can.
With over 150 families under their care, it really helps to put things in perspective for many of the employees.
At the end of the day, for me, it helps me not to sweat the small stuff. So what's a little traffic going home, or what that something didn't go my way? Does it really matter at the end of the day?
Although some families might feel more supported in a hospital, Trinity Kids Care services allows families to stay in the comforts of their own homes while getting the care they need.
We have an opportunity to really help families create their plan of care and what they want to do, and still also give them good quality care. Maybe sometimes Trinity Care isn't the answer, but I think that knowing that they have the option of doing some of this at home and not being alone is super important.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Jessie Pierre.
Thanks, Jesse. Trinity Kids Care does not turn away anyone from its services due to a lack of insurance or inability to pay.
The 103-year-old family business Ben Bridge Jewelers is now offering the Torrance community some of its finest. Shoppers crowded the newly relocated store inside the Del Amo Fashion Center to try on some of their exclusive pieces. City officials, along with members of the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, were in attendance to help celebrate the grand reopening of their newest store. Ben Bridge, formerly located inside the South Bay Galleria, now has 90 stores across the country and is excited to share its treasures in Torrance. The new store features an exclusive collection of Rolex watches as well as fine jewelry pieces.
We carry all sorts of unique and wonderful things, from Italian gold jewelry and diamonds, from Forevermark and from Canada, to Rolex watches. So we travel the world to try to find unique things to offer.
Ben Bridge has registered jewelers and certified gemologists from the American Gem Society.
One of the first microbreweries in Torrance is finally reopened at its new location. Torrance CitiCABLE was there for the opening. Hiba Samad reports.
It's a day these beer lovers have been waiting for.
It's been a long time coming, so it's great to see actually people in the space because I was here when we were shoveling out the dirt for the original floor drain.
This new 36,000 square feet of warehouse space is now the new home to Torrance's Strand Brewery, a name that has become a popular hotspot since opening shop 6 years ago.
I like solving problems, so that's something that happens a lot in brewing.
A passion that has helped Strand Brewery President Joe Elliott grow his business into what it is today. With construction beginning 10 months ago, Elliott's team has been waiting to have more room to create more beer. They will be going from a 7-barrel system to a much larger 30-barrel system.
It's been a long summer being in here alone, working, building it, and it's very exciting for me to have people in here and see the life.
The Strand Brewery that used to be tucked away on Tilo Avenue only had a capacity for 40 people and quickly grew out of its space. The reopening makes room for larger groups and can fit over 200 people. The new location also puts the brewery closer to others like Smog City and Monkish, allowing beer enthusiasts to enjoy much more. With the company priding itself on top-crafted beer, they say it's all about quality products.
It's also nice to be part of a bigger community that I feel that's helping change the world a little bit for the better.
Elliott says the new space will also give him and the team a chance to increase the amount of beer they produce to about 8,000 barrels next year, double the amount it made last year. They plan to have a small pilot system and make more specialty beers.
I think we have really good people who have the best interests of the beer and the company in mind.
Quality beer that will keep the South Bay community wanting more. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. Strand Brewery went from 2 employees to 12. The new location is on 2201 Dominguez Street. The city of Torrance is offering a free flu vaccine on Saturday, November 7th. You can drop by anytime from 2 to 4 p.m. The flu clinic takes place at the Katie Geisert Library. And there's still time to register for the city's Rain Barrel Distribution Program. A highly demanded event is back again and will take place at West High School's parking lot on November 14th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Each household is limited to 2 barrels. Spots are already filling up. There are only 500 available. You can register online at sbesc.com.
Now for Sports Desk fans, Colin Kushner is back in the studio with another great show.
What do you have for us, Colin?
Thanks, Jin and Ben. Welcome to the kingdom I like to call the Sports Desk studio. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook with any pics, video, or if you just want to chat about sports, I'll give you some TV love right here on the show. Here's a little preview of what's going down in the world of Torrance sports this week. THIS softball finally got their CIF blank blang. Hear from Coach G and the girls. Plus, we have highlights from the gridiron, volleyball court, the Twitter feed, and much, much more. That's 4 and 9:30 p.m. right here on CitiCABLE. Boom sauce! Jin and Ben, back to you.
Thanks, Colin. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. And Ben, it's great to have you back.
I am glad to be back. I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.